Hey, Sean here from speedcubeview.com. This is going to be the last video in my Roux tutorial series talking about EOLR. Now, what is EOLR? That is orienting the edges, the last 6 edges, while also placing the left and right edge, either putting them in place or putting them on bottom. If you put them on bottom, you often hear that called EOLRB. There are trainers for EOLR, and I'll show you real quick what that looks like. It's a little bit awkward at first to see the image and how that works, but it's a good way to practice doing it when you don't have a cube in hand and to see different cases and how they're solved. Some cases are definitely worth it to do, some are not so worth it, and some are more efficient. However, look ahead definitely gets more difficult. So we're going to go through all of that here. And first, we're just going to talk about the arrow. It all really comes down to that arrow case. And when we have this arrow case, there's a couple things to think about. First off, our left-right edges are going to be red and orange. And we have this red down here. So the best type of arrow case where we have one on the left and right and one which is already solved. So let's set this up. Okay, so I have orange right here and the red is on the back. So what's great with this is you don't have to worry about red. All you have to do is solve this arrow case and put the orange down here. So I'm going to do M prime, and then instead of doing a U, I'm going to do a U prime. And that's going to place orange down here. Perfectly set for M2. The other version of this is where you have one of them on the left or right, and then the other one's on back and solve. And for this, when you do M prime, you're going to do a U prime, because now both the orange and red are in back here, and do another M prime. So M prime, U prime, M prime. And that's going to be the case also if you do, and that's going to be the same thing if you're doing the arrow case and the other unsolved edges in the back, where you're going to do M, U, M. And that sets them up to be inserted. So that's where you want to get to 90% of the time. And it's learning how to set those up. There are cases and you can learn algorithms, but a lot of it's just intuitive for getting that set up. So if I'm going to set up a random case here and just move it randomly and see what shows up. Okay, so we have an arrow case. Red is already solved right here. So where is orange? Well, orange is down at the bottom. This wouldn't really be something that I would say would be worth it. We could solve the arrow case, and then this we can just solve by doing M, U2, M to place both of those. However, let's talk about how we could do this. How could we actually set this up? Well, we could put one at the corner here by doing U, and then we swap these. M, U2, M prime, and then set it up. That's not really saving any moves, but that would be how you could set that up. Now, what if we have an arrow where both of those edges are misoriented? If you had a case before then, you could have adjusted it to set up differently. And let me set this up first. Okay, so like here we have both edges misoriented, and we could just insert one and then solve the other one afterwards. But we could set this up to what is often called an off-center case or misoriented center case, where what's going to happen is you're going to have the arrow with misoriented in the middle of the arrow and on bottom. And here's all you have to do. M. They're now on bottom. And then M2 to insert it. And the 4 that are left are all misoriented, so you just have to do another M. Now, it's great if you already have that case set up. You can set it up differently. So, for example, if let's say it's not like this, but like here, you can swap these two and then move it down and right into place. Sometimes you don't need to move it down depending on what the case is. So we're going to go through a couple solves here. I've never seen these scrambles, so they're probably not going to be the most efficient things because I haven't been fine-tuning them, but we'll go through them together to see what is the best thing possibly to do and how to set up EOLR with this. So I have the scramble here. Okay, so while I'm inserting this final piece, we have CMLL. Okay, so the two misoriented edges are on bottom, and we need to get blue and green on bottom as well. I know blue is here. That can't be green because green's not going to be yellow. And this one is the one on the back, so I just kind of glanced there. I should have already seen it while doing CMLL, but I wasn't paying too much attention. Okay, so I'm going to have a one solved edge on bottom. And for this case, when they're on bottom, doing M prime, U, M prime, sets it up. That one's already solved, and that blue's here. So U prime, and I'm going to put blue on bottom. So green and blue are both on bottom. And now, looking at this last part, I know that this white's going to be on the back to finish that solution. Let's do one more. White and orange is pretty nice. Actually, yeah, okay, and then CMLL. And again, I have two misoriented edges on bottom, and these two are up top here. So instead of just doing this, that's going to mess up those ones. I'm going to put either do a U2 and then do the same alg, or just do M to start, because that's going to preserve that red one. However, that messed up the orange. So that's what we want to do. Red is preserved in back, orange on front, and then M prime, U2, sorry, U prime, M, and now insert that, solve the rest, and we're done. You can see with EOLR, it can take a little bit to see which way to move things around to find what is most efficient. Keep practicing with it and go through it slowly. For the most part, it should feel intuitive. You might need to check with the trainer that I showed earlier, or see some other solves to see what other people have done that might actually help you see how those intuitive EOLR algorithms work. So thank you very much for watching. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Hit like, subscribe for more content like this in the future, and so always start by speedcubeview.com for more news and reviews.